Have you ever found yourself, endlessly searching for a company policy, maybe a past decision, or just that one crucial piece of information that only that one person seems to know? Or maybe you're that person constantly fielding the same questions over and over.
Yeah, it's a scenario that plays out in offices everywhere every single day, and honestly, it can be such a huge drain on productivity. Well, today we're exploring a really fascinating trend, the rise of conversational AI, but not for external customers, which, we're all pretty used to by now, but inward for internal teams.
Exactly. While chatbots for customer service are, well, pretty much mainstream in enterprises, companies are now turning these powerful tools inward to support their own employees.
Right. And there were predictions about this, weren't there? Like Gartner saying, what was it, back by 2022, 70% of white-collar workers would be regularly interacting with these platforms.
That's the one. And it seems that future is very much here now. Okay, so let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into how these internal AI assistants are becoming a genuine game changer. They're tackling this age-old problem, really, that plagues nearly every organization, big or small.
hmm
We'll explore why this isn't just, another tech fad, but a truly practical solution that's already delivering immense value. And I think most importantly, what it means for your workday.
Yeah, the practical side is key.
Absolutely. Our mission today is really to help you understand how this technology directly addresses those common workplace frustrations and genuinely empowers teams. So, to really get to grips with the solution, I think we first need to understand the problem at its core. This age-old knowledge bottleneck.
Right.
We've all seen it, haven't we? Critical institutional knowledge, it just ends up concentrated in a few veteran employees.
The go-to gurus.
Exactly. Your go-to gurus who often carry all that vital info about processes, policies, historical decisions. It's all in their heads.
And what happens? They end up fielding endless questions.
Yeah.
They become human search engines, basically.
Totally. Constantly interrupted. And the consequences are pretty stark, aren't they? These experts get overworked, their colleagues lose valuable time just waiting.
Yeah, waiting for answers. Productivity just tanks.
I remember a colleague, seriously, who literally had a queue outside his office door sometimes just for a quick answer. That's just not scalable.
No way.
And we're not talking small amounts of time either. Studies suggest employees can spend up to, 30% of their workday just searching for information?
It's staggering when you think about it. 30%.
Huge. And beyond efficiency, there's a real risk, too, if one of those experts leaves.
Oof. That knowledge can just vanish. It's a massive organizational risk. And that's such a crucial point. It really highlights how our traditional knowledge management tools, despite good intentions, often make the bottleneck worse.
How so? Like the old wikis and things?
Exactly. Think about corporate wikis, those huge internal knowledge bases. They aim to document everything, but usually they suffer from poor adoption, inconsistent upkeep.
Stuff gets outdated fast.
So fast. Or it's just plain wrong. And unless you have a dedicated team constantly curating it, which, let's be honest, rarely happens.
Right.
Employees lose trust. One source actually called them a wasted investment because people just stop using them. They give up. And what happens then? People revert back to pinging the expert on Slack or email.
Because it's faster, usually.
Feels faster.
Yeah.
But it's also the most disruptive path. So you get frustration for the asker who's waiting and total burnout for the expert facing constant interruptions.
It's a bad cycle.
It really is. So the key question becomes, why haven't our old approaches kept up? And the simple answer is, they're static. The demand for dynamic, instant information has just blown past them. The world moved on, but our internal knowledge systems largely stayed put.
Okay, and that's exactly where this paradigm shift comes in, right? Moving from static libraries to active conversational partners.
Precisely.
So if those traditional knowledge bases were falling short, what's the fundamental change here? How does conversational AI actually transcend those limitations? What does it look like, sort of under the hood?
Well, the fundamental shift is moving from employees having to pull information, often from a messy repository, to having AI push the exact relevant answer to them and in a natural conversational way.
Okay.
So companies are now integrating their existing intranets, their wikis, document repositories, all that stuff, with these powerful conversational AI tools, often generative AI chatbots.
Generative AI. Right.
Essentially, they're teaching an AI assistant using all their internal data. This often involves converting documents into something called vector embeddings.
Vector embeddings. Sounds
Ugh.
technical.
It is a bit, but think of it like this. It's transforming text into numerical representations. Fancy way of saying the AI can easily search, compare, and actually understand the meaning, not just keywords.
Ah, okay. So it can then answer employee questions in plain language.
Exactly.
Huh.
Plain, natural language.
That sounds incredibly powerful. So it's really moving beyond just keyword matching then. This is where it gets really interesting for me. Can you explain a bit more how these systems truly understand the intent, almost like asking a colleague?
Absolutely. And that's the core advantage. The conversational approach has several huge benefits over the old ways. First, it's just way more user-friendly.
Right. No more guessing keywords.
Exactly. Employees don't need to know which manual has the answer or struggle with finding the perfect search terms. They just ask the bot a natural question, like they'd ask you or me,
Makes sense. Lowers the barrier.
dramatically.
Okay.
Second, the AI, powered by a large language model that's the sort of advanced brain behind it and, crucially, trained on the company's own data.
That's the key part.
It is. It dynamically retrieves the relevant info because it understands the intent of the question. It's like having a super search engine that actually gets what you're asking for and finds it in seconds. That context awareness is vital. And importantly, these AI assistants are inherently contextual and dynamic. They can be continually updated just by feeding them new documents or Q&A pairs.
Without massive manual editing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's much less manual than trying to keep a traditional knowledge base curated.
Yeah.
The bot can even ask clarifying questions if your query is a bit vague or show you the most relevant snippet.
Handy.
Very. And finally, there's the consistency and efficiency. Think about a common question. How do I request vacation time?
Yeah, classic HR question.
Instead of digging through a policy doc or asking a coworker who might remember it slightly wrong, the AI assistant instantly gives you the exact steps from the latest policy, maybe even provides a link to the form, all in one chat.
Everyone gets the same correct answer.
Exactly. A single source of truth. Unlike relying on individual memories, it saves time for everyone involved. So yeah, it's not just about faster answers. It's about transforming that static knowledge into a living, interactive mentor that's available 24/7.
Wow.
It fundamentally changes how knowledge is accessed and, importantly, trusted within an organization.
Transforming passive knowledge into an active resource, that really does sound like a fundamental shift. But what does it look like in practice? Are there good examples of companies seeing real, tangible benefits from this?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just theory. Plenty of organizations are already seeing significant results. Take Unilever, the consumer goods giant.
Okay.
They built an internal chatbot called Unabot. It acts as a one-stop shop for employees, handling everything from HR policy questions to office logistics like, where do I park?
Practical stuff too.
Totally. And Unabot even tailored information based on who was asking and their location. It started in one region, was super useful, so it expanded. A study found it not only improved response speed, but boosted employee satisfaction by 23% after launch.
23%? That's a huge jump in satisfaction.
It really is. It became the front face for employee inquiries, available 24/7, freeing up HR staff to focus on more complex, strategic work.
That really underscores the qualitative benefit, not just speed. Are there other big examples showing similar impacts?
Definitely. Johnson Controls the industrial firm. They introduced an HR chatbot called Omni for their 100,000 employees.
Wow, large scale.
Very. Omni cut HR call volume by about 30–40%. Imagine filtering out all those routine questions from phone lines and inboxes.
That frees up a lot of HR time for more strategic things.
Precisely. And then there's Loan Depot, the financial services company. They use an AI assistant, LED, mainly for onboarding and common employee questions.
Onboarding is always tough.
Right. Well, 90% of their new hires used LED in the first week and found it extremely helpful. Really smoothed out that learning curve.
90% adoption in week 1 is impressive.
It shows the immediate value. Even in the author's own organization, they mentioned an internal HR assistant handles FAQs, saving over 100 hours of staff time per year. Time HR can reinvest. In employees, they appreciate getting instant answers without feeling like they're bothering someone.
That's a really powerful set of results across different industries. It drives home the immediate value. But beyond HR and onboarding, where else are these internal AIs making a big splash?
IT support is another huge area. It's really being revolutionized.
Okay, how so?
Well, instead of logging a help desk ticket and just waiting, an employee might ask the AI, how do I reset my VPN password? Or maybe, why isn't Outlook working?
Common frustrations.
Exactly. The assistant can pull answers from troubleshooting guides, known issue databases, often giving an immediate solution. Or, at the very least, it gathers the critical info needed to streamline the ticket if it does need escalation. Sometimes it resolves the issue entirely on the spot, Companies using AI for internal IT support are deflecting a massive chunk of routine tickets. One company mentioned handling over 1,000 IT and HR queries a month via their AI assistant.
1,000 a month.
Yeah, dramatically reducing the support workload, faster fixes for employees, lighter queues for IT staff. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
And looking at the broader impact, the ROI is significant. Conversational AI frees people from these info bottlenecks across departments: HR, IT, finance, sales, you name it.
It's not just time saved then.
No, it's time saved, higher productivity, and substantial cost savings. McKinsey actually estimated companies can save up to 40% of HR support costs using automation and Gen AI for these inquiries.
40%, that's huge.
It is. And just as important, I think, is that qualitative benefit.
Yeah.
You get an empowered workforce that feels supported, can self-serve info, and escape that FAQ treadmill.
Up to 40% cost savings in HR support alone. That's quite a number. But beyond the financials, what does this really mean for employee satisfaction? You mentioned freeing people up for higher value work. What does that actually look like for, say, an HR person or an IT specialist?
That's a great question, because it's not just about saving time, it's about shifting focus. It's about purpose.
Okay.
So for an HR professional, instead of constantly answering, how do I take vacation, maybe they're now proactively designing better employee engagement programs, or developing more effective training, or offering tailored career coaching, things that require human insight and strategy.
More strategic, less transactional.
Exactly. And for IT, instead of resetting passwords all day or explaining basic software functions, they can focus on critical stuff like cybersecurity, improving system architecture, maybe implementing innovative new tech that drives the business forward.
Right, the stuff they probably want to be doing.
Precisely. It's about empowering people to use their uniquely human skills, critical thinking, creativity, empathy, where they genuinely add the most value, transforming roles from just reactive fixing to proactive value creation.
That's a really compelling vision. So it feels clear this isn't some distant future thing anymore. It's happening right now.
Definitely.
And all the signs suggest these internal conversational AI agents are set to become just a standard tool in the digital workplace. There was even a prediction that 2026 is the year this trend really hits its stride.
Seems plausible.
Now, for many listeners, the idea of a virtual assistant might bring back, memories of Clippy, you know, the Microsoft Office paperclip.
Well, yes, Clippy, the ghost of assistants past.
Right. What makes this generation fundamentally different and actually useful, unlike those early, often annoying attempts?
That's a perfect analogy and, yeah, a totally fair point of skepticism. The key difference is, well, intelligence. Actual intelligence. Clippy was basically rule-based, pre-programmed with a very limited set of often unhelpful suggestions. It didn't understand anything.
Right. It just popped up.
Exactly. Today's internal AI assistants, they're powered by large language models trained on, the internet, but then specifically fine-tuned on a company's unique internal knowledge, your documents, your policies, your data.
So gave context.
Massive context.
Yeah.
They don't just follow a script. You can understand natural language, infer intent, synthesize information from across your entire knowledge base, and provide tailored, dynamic, and genuinely helpful answers. Plus, they're continually learning and improving. It makes them a true virtual colleague that can scale the expertise of your best people.
That difference is night and day.
Okay.
And what's really exciting, you mentioned earlier, is that actually implementing one of these internal chatbots is getting easier, right? It's not just for the giant corporations anymore.
Exactly right. Not that long ago, building a custom AI assistant, you needed a team of data scientists, expensive, lengthy development cycle.
Big investment.
Huge. Now, you've got no-code or low-code platforms like VoiceFlow was mentioned. These let teams design pretty sophisticated conversational flows, integrate them with AI models, connect to knowledge bases, often through a visual interface.
Right.
It's much more accessible.
Or drag and drop, almost.
Getting closer to that, yeah. And other tools, like HeyGen, can even put a friendly face or voice to your AI assistant, turn into an interactive avatar that chats with users in a more lifelike way.
Wow.
It means even a small department can pilot a conversational assistant without breaking the bank. And what's really cool is that the knowledge holders themselves, those experts we talked about, they can often be the ones to train the AI. By feeding it documents, answering its questions, recording their insights, they're essentially creating a digital version of themselves.
That's incredibly empowering, letting the people with the knowledge directly build the resource. But okay, even with these easier tools and clear benefits, are there common hurdles, maybe initial skepticism companies face when they try to roll this out? How do they get past that?
Oh, absolutely. It's not always smooth sailing. While the tech is more accessible, adoption needs to be thoughtful. First and foremost, you have to involve your IT and security teams early on.
Non-negotiable for data security.
Totally non-negotiable, especially with sensitive internal data. Clear communication with employees is also vital. Explaining how the assistant works, what it's good for, what its limitations are, what it shouldn't be used for. Managing expectations is key.
Right, setting boundaries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And change management is crucial. Some staff might be initially skeptical, I'm not talking to an HR bot.
Yeah, I can see that.
But typically, when they see it's reliable, accurate, and actually does make their lives easier by providing quick answers, trust grows. Usage climbs. These success stories we talked about often started small.
Like the HR FAQ example.
Precisely. Roll out a chatbot for HR FAQs, prove its value, then expand to IT support or finance policies or whatever makes sense next. That phased approach lets you learn, adapt, and build trust step by step.
That phased approach makes a ton of sense. Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener, and your team? It means, potentially, no more single points of failure where only Joe or Jane has the answer. No more frustrating scavenger hunts through documents that might be obsolete anyway. Investing in an internal AI assistant looks like a genuinely smart move in this whole AI revolution.
Really does.
It tackles that perennial knowledge-sharing problem head-on by giving you a 247 digital assistant, one that scales the expertise of your best people and makes it available to everyone who needs it instantly.
Reducing onboarding time, streamlining work.
Exactly. Reducing onboarding time for new folks, streamlining day-to-day work for everyone, and boosting employee engagement because people feel supported when information is just there at their fingertips.
Yeah, the technology is definitely mature now. The use cases are proven across different industries, and ultimately the goal is to free up your people's time and brain power to focus on that higher value work. We discuss the stuff that really drives innovation and personal growth. Your internal genie is kind of waiting. It really feels like time to explore how you can put it to work to transform your workplace. Make knowledge instantly accessible. Empower your team like never before. Maybe think about this. What's one area in your organization where instantly accessible knowledge could make the biggest difference right now?